All right, so I've got this Peg Perego little, whatever it is, off-roader, not really off-roader, lawn toy. And I bought it for my boys. They did not care that it was pink. They just wanted it today. So pink was the only color, so they got pink. Now my girls want to play with it, and it's dead. It's not working, so I'm trying to figure out why. Speeds 1 and reverse do not work. I want to figure out why speeds 1 and reverse do not work, but speed 2 does work. The faster speed works. Now I've got 2 girls that want to use it, and they can't use it without a reverse. So I'm here to explain to you guys how this thing works. I contacted Peg Perego, and they said, well, check the motor and see if one of the motors is dead and swap the other side. And if the motors are dead, then that might be part of your problem. Well, I kind of wanted to figure out exactly why it worked, because they also said that the issue might be in the shifter. So I took this whole thing apart, digging through the electronics and trying to figure out if the shifter was bad. So I'm here to explain to you guys how these things function, how they work, how speed 1 and 2 are set up. There is not actually a speed switch. I checked the forums, checked YouTube. Nobody had a good explanation as to how. So I'm about to explain to you how they work, why they fail, and what you need to do when they do. All right, so here we got a switch that's taken apart. So I got this switch taken apart. Normally, what happens is this little plastic thing sits inside the switch like so, all right? And when the switch moves, when the lever moves forward or backward, it's got a notch here, okay? And this notch is attached to this right here. When you move forward or backward, what happens is that you make different connections between these points based on which connection you're in, okay? Now, here's why. Well, here's how it's set up right now. I'll try to make this visual as clear as possible. Let's pretend, for the sake of conversation, that this is a motor. I know it's not a motor, but this is a motor, and this is a motor. In speed 1 and in reverse, what this switch does is it runs the wiring for the motors in series. So if this is our battery, again, just for the sake of conversation, you got a wire coming out to here. It'll go to this lead, then to this one, then to this one, then to this one, then back over here. And what ends up happening is if you remove one of the motors from the equation, meaning the motor's dead, this one's actually the one that's dead. If we remove that from the equation, you get an open loop now. It's not a closed loop. And what I did to test this is I actually set this car up, and I went inside here where one motor is still hooked up. If I can show this to you. And I grabbed these 2 wires and I shorted them out while pressing the pedal in speed 1 and in reverse, and lo and behold, that worked again. With these open, it does not work. In speed 2, these are run in parallel, which means you got 2 wires going here, 2 wires going here. And so essentially, if you have a condition where this car only works in speed 2, but not in speed 1 or reverse, you need a new motor. It's that simple. I'm kind of impressed with these things, by the way. These transmissions are doing fine. My boys drove these, and my boys drove them until they were too heavy to be using them, and they towed stuff with them, and they drove it through the snow, they drove it through the rain, through the mud, you name it. This car got abused bad. And after all that time, only one motor burned out, and I'm actually running 2 batteries in parallel to double the amount of life you get out of this thing. So running 2 batteries in parallel, which doubles the life, doubles the current, not the speed, just the just the current, the torque rather. I've only managed to burn out 1 motor this entire time. I'd say these things are built pretty well. If I had to buy another one, I absolutely would, but I'm just gonna fix this one, throw a new motor in it, touch it up a little bit, and my girls will be ready to go. So hope this helps you guys.